Thank you for listening to another episode of Sex Afflictions and Porn Addictions. And I am your host, Craig Pera from themindfulhabit.com, the founder of the Mindful Habit System. And this podcast is to empower you to create healthy sexuality and a great life. Today, I'm going to honor one of my favorite expressions, memento mori. If you've never heard that expression, it is Latin for remember death. In fact, I have it tattooed on my arm. Listen, I like attention, right? Memento mori, remember death. And it's not a morbid fascination with death. It is a reminder. It is a reminder that I am going to die. My dog is going to die. My wife is going to die. God forbid, my children before me. We don't know. We have absolutely no idea when that day is going to come. And reflecting on that, I feel I know is very empowering for me. I don't sweat the small stuff. I got big picture in mind. I do what's most important. My actions reflect my values and my goals. And today, I want to share with you the 5 primary regrets of people at the end of their lives. So today, I'm going to be the ghost of Christmas future. Do you remember Charles Dickens' A Christmas Story? This is the ghost who took Scrooge into the future. And today, I'm going to take you into your future if you don't change your ways. Or at a minimum, this is certainly a future that you want to avoid at all costs. Because let's face it, life is too short to suck. But first, shout out time. Listen, I have the distinct honor and privilege to be let into people's lives in such an intimate way in my coaching, whether it's in my group or my one-on-one coaching programs. I help people live their best lives, and recently had the amazing privilege of working with an amazing man named Adam, who I now consider a friend. Hopefully, we're going to get together when I head down to Disney in January with my nephew Bailey. We're taking him for his graduation. So privileged that I'm able to do that. I feel awesome about that, and hopefully we'll get together. But I want to share with you what he said about working with me. And I'm bragging, and I want you to have hope. And I want you to know what's possible if you're listening to this at a low point in your life. And here's what he said. I'm glad you're here. Here's what he said. The mindful habit is simply incredible. Man, that feels good. Craig Pera developed a system that not only identified why I struggled with porn and sex addiction, but how to use the same energy that was ruining my life and relationships to create forward momentum to a better one. After more than 30 years of dealing with my addictions, poor choices, and many attempts to stop, I met Craig and things started changing. Simple as that. Life isn't always easy and things get messy, but the new perspective I have on my life is how I see myself, and my choices has changed everything. See, one of the things that needs to change on your journey is perspective. So let's start by shifting that perspective, and let's start working on that now. And by reviewing the 5 most common regrets of the dying. And as I do so, I want you to honestly look in the mirror. And let's just pretend, right? We're going to do a hypothetical. If you were, God forbid, as my mother used to say, or my mother says, diagnosed with a terminal illness today with weeks to live, how many of these regrets that I'm going to get into apply to you? Remember, I'm the ghost of Christmas future, so if this future applies to you, I'm going to tell you how you can start taking action right now to change your ways. So, 5 regrets of the dying. I have been sharing this article for years, and if you Google regrets of the dying, it's the first one that's going to come up. The author is an incredible woman named Bronnie Ware. Okay. And for years and years, she worked in palliative care, and that's nursing people at the end of their lives. So think of that relationship, right? These are all people who know they're going to die. And that has got to be a deeply, no, we all know we're going to die. They knew they were going to die soon, right? We all think we're going to live forever, right? Maybe I got another 40 years left. I'm 48 now. I'll live to 88 years old, maybe. But I got some mental challenge. I've got mental challenges, but I got some physical challenges. I don't know how long I'm going to live, but I do know that for every second that I'm on this planet, I'm going to try to live my best life. So how many of these apply to you? Let's dig in. All right. So here's the first one, and this is the most common one. Oh, okay. There's first a little bit more about Bronnie. So she's the author of the international best-selling memoir, The Top 5 Regrets of the Dying, and you can find her website at bronieware.com, BRONIEWARE.com. So she turned this into a book, and that book was an international bestseller, and you're going to see why. All right, so let's go. The first and most popular is, here's the regret. The regret is, I wish I had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me. Right? When you are at the end of the end of the line, and you're standing on death's door, do you want to regret that you didn't live a life where you're true to yourself? I mean, think how heavy that regret would wear on you. And if you're listening to this podcast, unless you're listening to it in end of life care, there is hope. You can do something about that. So many people go through life with their dreams unfulfilled. And I feel so blessed and privileged that I am living my best life. It feels good to honestly say that. I'm happiest in my relationship. I truly feel that I am living a dream. The thought of being a life coach, 9 years ago was ridiculous. Can you imagine the looks on people's faces after getting fired from a job, spending 3 days in an inpatient facility, working as an executive for most of my life? Hey, Papa, I'm going to be a life coach. Can you imagine the look on Michelle's father's face? So I do feel that I'm living a life that's true to myself. Are you? Here's the most popular one from men. I wish I hadn't worked so hard. And she says this came from every male patient that she nursed. They missed their kids' youth. They missed their partner's companionship. They just spent all their time and energy at work. Now listen, and I know some of you right now are listening to this and you are busting your ass and you are working so hard and you're trying to improve. But here's the thing, right? Some of you listening to this aren't going to get better because the underlying system needs to change. The ability to create results working, 7 days a week, 12 hours a day, really shrinks dramatically. You have no capacity to grow. You're constantly reacting, nose constantly to the grindstone. Think of the physiological stress on the body. So, and listen, and here's the thing that I just want to say this about working so hard, because I know there are a lot of driven men that listen to me. This is a universal conclusion that everybody who I worked with gets to, right? They when they start, they're working hard. Maybe they're the primary provider, working hard. They don't feel appreciated. They feel insignificant. They have no concept of what their needs are, aren't getting their needs met. And they know, and they feel, and they're working their ass off. They're working their ass off. And so if this person, let's call him Joe, for example, Joe feels if he takes any time for himself, someone else is giving, someone else is losing. He's taking that from someone else. He's taking that time for himself from his family, the few precious minutes he has. He's taking that time for himself from his work. So it's this, quid pro quo, use a popular term. It's I give, I take, you lose, okay? Let me just tell you where that goes, because that is a completely flawed belief system. Completely flawed, broken, is not going to get you where you want to go. What happens to every single one of these men, as they prioritize, as they realize that as a needs-seeking organism, they must prioritize their mind, body, and spirit. When they do that, what they find is instead of all these other entities, their family and their work losing, they rise. As they rise like the tide, like boats on the ocean, the family and work rises with them. So it is very, very important to do everything you can to move towards that belief system so you work smarter, not harder. You think strategically, you make better decisions when you are taking care of yourself, period. So do not be one of these people who said, I wished I hadn't worked so hard. That's number two. Number three, I mean, this is so relevant, isn't it, brothers? I wish I had the courage to express my feelings. Here's what she said. Many people suppress their feelings in order to keep peace with others. As a result, they settled for a mediocre existence and never became who they were truly capable of becoming. Many developed illnesses related to the bitterness and resentment that they carried as a result. Listen, people who have and live their life's purpose live longer and resist disease better. Fact. Fact. And so many of you struggling with sex addiction and porn addiction, what does that even mean? And I'm going to do a podcast on that. What does that even mean? It means low self-control, low self-awareness, low self-control, lack of empathy, and an incredible ability to compartmentalize, unhealthy sexuality, and not living a purpose-driven life. And the courage to express your feelings comes under the self-awareness category. Most of my clients, when they start with me, have no idea what their needs are, let alone realize that they need to get them met in a healthy, constructive way. Their relationship with conflict is broken. And so there's just, listen, here's what this work does. If you're, taking the plunge and you're, and it was sex addiction or porn addiction that brought you to a place where you've realized that you can't keep going on like this, that's a gift. Because here's what, this forces all the ugly out on the table. It forces you to deal with and address each one of those things that I mentioned: self-control, self-awareness, lack of empathy, blah, blah, blah. If you're going to come out the other side, you have to address those issues. You have to have the courage to express your feelings. You have to live in your truth. And I know there's one of you out there right now who is not living in his truth. Successful business, an incredible sobriety. I mean, this guy did everything he was told to do, but he's not living his truth. He's not expressing himself. He's not sharing how he feels. He's in a very difficult relationship, and I love him dearly, and I want him to do well. This is a message to him and to you if you connect with this. If you connect with number 3, I wish I had the courage to express my feelings. It is so important for you to feel like you are living in your truth. And for you guys out there listening to this, you've likely robbed someone else of their truth, your partner. How can she live in her truth where she doesn't even know what's up, what's down, sun rises in the east, sets in the west? Like, my husband telling me the truth, he's lying. So this obviously forces that on the table. You have to have the courage to express your feelings. Here's another one, and this one, listen, they're all important. These are obviously the top 5 regrets of the dying. I wish I had stayed in touch with my friends. So relevant to my work. The opposite of addiction isn't sobriety, it's connection. Like, that's a real thing. Connection really helps. Addiction is isolation, disconnect, not just from other people, but from yourself. When you connect with others, you connect with yourself. Here's what she said. Often, these people would not truly realize the full benefits of old friends until their dying weeks, and it was not always possible to track them down. Many had become so caught up in their own lives that they had let golden friendships slip by over the years. There were many deep regrets about not giving friendships the time and effort that they deserved. Everyone misses their friends when they are dying. Take a look right now at your relationships, your friendships. Now, I know it's the holiday season, so you may be more in contact, which is good. Maybe use this as an opportunity to reestablish those contacts and set a time to get together again. When you're dying, everyone misses their friends. Heavy, right? Here's another one. And certainly if you're addicted to sex and porn, this one, will apply to you. I wish that I had let myself be happier. Okay, and here's what she said. This is a surprisingly common one. Many did not realize until the end that happiness is a choice. They had stayed stuck in old patterns and habits. Hello? The so-called comfort of familiarity overflowed into their emotions as well as their physical lives. Fear of change had them pretending to others and to themselves that they were content, when deep within they longed to laugh properly. They longed to laugh properly and have silliness in their life again. When you are on your deathbed, what others think of you is a long way from your mind. How wonderful to be able to let go and smile again long before you are dying. And if you are numbing, coping, and escaping with pornography or compulsive sexual behavior, that may create the illusion, this charge of excitement. If there's infidelity, the charge of the stranger, the significance of being desired. Are you happy? Are you happy? I had someone call me and tell me about their just compulsive behavior. This was somebody who was just recently waking up to the reality that their lives were out of control. Sex with 2 women a day. It sounded like an exaggerated story. And this person, but he's calling me, but there's almost a bragging element, right? Because there's a sense of conquest. See, what that behavior is giving him, it's giving him significance, because he feels so insignificant on the inside that he's getting that significance needs met externally. And I asked him, are you happy? Long pause. Awkward silence. Big breath. Tears running down his face. Of course he wasn't happy. Of course he wasn't happy. Life is a choice. It's your life. Choose consciously. Choose wisely. Choose honestly. Choose happiness. Choose happiness. So, reflect on those 5 regrets. Think about, if you were to die soon, what other regrets that you may have, right? Maybe your list is longer. Maybe there are some other ones. How many of these apply to you? Really, how many of these apply to you? Do you know how many of them apply to me? None. I'm living a dream. I'm the closest I've ever been with my wife. I help people for a living. I feel good about myself. I proactively manage my triggers. I can respond to my negative emotions in a way that I learn and grow from them, because of course we react negatively. And by the way, podcast coming, I'm going to be talking about how to use every negative reaction as a serious growth opportunity. I'm really excited how I've packaged a number of important lessons together in a way that helps you use those negative reactions. So in a few more episodes, you have that coming. So I have ample time to take care of myself. As many of you know, 7 car accidents, 6 concussions, fractured skull, low back surgery, jaw surgery, stabbed in the neck, could have my soldier operated on, could have 2 discs replaced in my neck, could have hip surgery, but I've kept those at bay because of my self-care. And I want to, particularly the neck surgery, I want to never get that. I want to never get that. And so I built a life for myself that allows me to counterbalance my physical challenges, my mental health challenges, where I have the time to do what I need to do in order to be my best self. So I built this life for me, and you can build your life for you. So finally, if you are struggling with building the life that you want for yourself, the first person that reaches out to me at 877-769-3790 or info@themindfulhabit.com. I'm going to give you 50% off the group coaching program. That's the savings of $1,000. Just mention the word podcast, and I'm going to give you that discount. All right. So that's only if you need help. If you're struggling to build the life you want and you need help, just like in your business, like it ain't working, you need help, you go outside. Well, that's when you bring me in, when you need that structured, intense support. Okay, just be sure to mention podcast. And until next time, feed the right wolf inside you and embrace your power of choice.